On Thursday's show, I discussed about obviously Damian Lillard going from the Portland Trailblazers to the Milwaukee Bucks. And because of that, obviously the Blazers got Jrue Holiday back in the deal. There were rumors out there Portland was looking to get even more assets before Jrue Holiday. Obviously, they have Simons, they have Scoot Henderson, they added DeAndre Ayton. They have a lot of young talent. They want to be able to rebuild with that young core, get more picks. They moved off Jurgic to Phoenix. They were looking to move out Jrue Holiday, and there was a lot of Eastern Conference bidders, including the Miami Heat, including the Philadelphia 76ers. But at the end of the day, Jrue Holiday made his way to the Boston Celtics. And if you look at the East, we obviously think Dame Giannis is going to work, be a dynamic duo along with Chris Middleton, who, if he stays healthy, is an excellent three. And Milwaukee, not Miami, would be the favorite in the Eastern Conference. What have we said about Boston the last couple of years? Jason Tatum's a great player. Some people put him in the top 10. I do not have him in my top 10. I have him somewhere between 12 and 15. Sometimes I think Jaylen Brown can play like a top 10 player in the NBA. He often nights, in my opinion at least, is the number one on their team rather than Jason Tatum. But we always said, who is their number three? Marcus Smart. Now in Memphis, obviously, but Marcus Smart, unreliable. And then, Al Horford can't be a number three in a championship team. Grant Williams can't be a number three in a championship team. Obviously, Robin Williams is not a scorer. It was like, where was that scoring going to come from that's not from Tatum and Jaylen Brown? And Boston got a significant answer to that question when they swapped Marcus Smart for Jrue Holiday. They got just as good of a defensive player, but a way better offensive player who at times last year in the postseason played better than Giannis, who obviously Giannis was injured. I criticized him for losing that first-round battle to Miami. But now Milwaukee and Boston's teams look a lot different. And they, just like a couple years ago, remember when we all thought Milwaukee-Boston was going to be the Eastern Conference Finals, and it ended up not happening. Of course, it was Boston-Miami, and then it was Miami-Boston again this year. Milwaukee has seemingly fallen the last couple of years because of Giannis injuries the year before that, the Chris Middleton injury. Now I think Milwaukee and Boston, with Holiday knowing Milwaukee and Milwaukee knowing Jrue Holiday, I think this is setting up for the next, 3-4 years to be the dominant Eastern Conference matchup. I don't think Philadelphia is going to get there. I would not be surprised if Joel Embiid asked out of Philadelphia. Sounds like James Harden wants out of Philly. They're not probably going to get a superstar back for him. Embiid, wanted Lillard. He wanted Holiday. Philadelphia got neither of them. Miami, we all talked about how great Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo were last postseason, especially playoff Himmy. But their bench was huge, as we know. Those four undrafted guys. Caleb Martin is now, pretty much there by himself. There's no Gabe Vincent. There's no Max Strus. Tyler Hero was in trade talks. Miami's still not in love with him. It just feels like this is the year Miami takes a step back. And last year, when they played Denver so well in game 2 and they stole that game in Denver, it felt like that was their year. And then they completely collapsed offensively and they got worse over the offseason. The interesting team is Cleveland. The addition of Max Strus will help with a small forward. I'm still not sure if Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell is the right combination of the 1 and 2. I think they're too small to play together. I don't think you can have 2 6'1" point guards to be a championship team. Evan Mobley reportedly put on 7 pounds of muscle this offseason. We'll see if him and Jared Allen can get tougher, but I still don't think Cleveland has the bench and the chemistry and the togetherness yet of a Milwaukee or a Boston in terms of talent. And then the Knicks are obviously, they're a good team. They need one more superstar piece. I think Brunson's very good. Julius Randle's very good. They're like star level. They need a superstar player to take them to the next level. Which is why I think as of right now, it's clearly Milwaukee, Boston, the top 2 teams in the East. Now, the West is obviously loaded, right? Golden State still is going to be there. Lakers, very good. Denver, obviously, the world champions. Phoenix, obviously, going to be very, very good as long as everybody stays healthy. Sacramento, now a new year under the system. You still got Luka and Kyrie in Dallas. You got Memphis trying to bounce back after a tumultuous ending the last season. So there's a lot of good teams in the NBA. I think there's more good teams in the NBA than ever. Eastern Conference, we kind of think of it as a 4 or 5 team race. I think right now it's a 2-team race with a very good 3 through 5 in Philly, Cleveland, New York. But they all need to add that extra piece that Milwaukee and Boston have right now. I think it's very close between Milwaukee and Boston. Ultimately, in the end, I think I would take Milwaukee because of the star power between Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. But Jrue Holiday was a great ad for Boston, who again, Milwaukee swaps out Holiday for Dame. Better offensive player, weak defensively. Boston subs out Marcus Smart for Jrue Holiday. Same defensive player, better offensively. The difference is, I think, in a big stage. If Giannis is done choking in the postseason, if Giannis and Damian Lillard can help each other out, I think those two have better production than Tatum and Jason and Jaylen Brown, As much as we like both of them, some games they disappear. Giannis and Lillard, they almost never disappear. They just don't have great games. There are some games where Tatum and Brown completely disappear. So I think Jrue Holiday changed the game for the East. Milwaukee, Boston, top 2 teams. Great move by Boston here as we get ready to unveil my official NBA predictions in the coming weeks. Like that clip from the Brand's World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brand's World podcast right here on YouTube.